Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Live Inspired Today. This is Kirk Williams, your host, and thank you very much for tuning in. We are excited for another episode with another phenomenal, inspirational person. We just enjoy these weekly, and I can't say weekly. We sometimes we do them weekly, sometimes we do them twice a week. We're just getting our feet wet with this whole thing, but we enjoy being with you guys, and we thank you for chiming in with us. And I just wanted to really thank my family, my wife especially, for allowing me to do this. She's been a rock for us. Hopefully, I'll get her on the show at some point in time. That's a big shout out to you, Adrian, Nikki Williams. You need to come on the show and talk about everything that you're doing. But today's show, very special show. I'm so excited to have this Roz Brooks with us today on the Live Inspired show. And just so everybody know, I'm going to read this really quick. Roz Brooks is the founder and director of Together We Can, a 501c3 nonprofit organization doing business as Vegas Roots Community Garden. And if you haven't been to the community garden here in Vegas, it is amazing what Roz has been able to do with the garden here in the desert, let alone. She's been doing a fantastic job. She's a native of Las Vegas, Nevada, graduated from UNLV with a bachelor's in business, master's in education, and has transformed. She was an elementary school teacher for 7 years, transformed her life with utilizing her passion for education and nutrition, and became an entrepreneur. And now she's a published health expert, farmer, certified wellness coach, motivational speaker. She also changed the oil. She does it all. We're so excited. So please, everyone, help me welcome to the stage, the main stage, Ms. Roz Brooks. Roz, thank you for joining today on Live Inspired Today.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for all of those kind words that you just shared. I need to call you every morning so you could give me that. Lift me up. Yes,
that's right. That's what we're trying to do, and we're so excited to have you here because you've been doing some great things over the past couple of years. I mentioned the Vegas Roots Community Garden that you started, and it's a wonderful thing. But you know what? We see all the great things you were just highlighted on. There's a Channel 13. It just highlight you. So even when we were talking before we got on live, you got a call about someone that saw the news clip, and you had
to buy a plot. Yes, come and buy a plot. Support your local farmer.
That's right. So that's great. And again, I love the fact that you are doing it, and you did it in the desert. We live in Vegas. We're in the desert. So how did you even come up with that idea? Again, I mentioned that you're an elementary school teacher, and then now we're here. But how did you get to this point? How was it? What inspired you to do this Vegas Roots Community Garden?
Yeah, it was really interesting because I'm from Vegas, so I'm obviously a city girl. Had never planted anything, had never even heard of a community garden prior to starting the community garden. But I was a school teacher at Joe Mackey and Fitzgerald. I taught kindergarten and first
Joe
grade.
Mackey.
Yes, Joe Mackey.
Went to Joe Mackey.
Went to Joe Mackey. Okay.
Yeah.
It was probably like a one-room classroom. No.
Are you calling me old? Are you calling me old? Oh man.
I've always had a heart for the homeless, and that had been something I had been passionate about for probably 20 years. And during my tenure of being a school teacher, it really just kind of grew and festered in me just a lot. Like I really, really wanted to have a homeless day shelter and just had all these plans and went to Boston. And in Boston, they have a 10-story homeless day shelter that was just really, really amazing. And I wanted to bring that back to Vegas and duplicate that. And somewhere along the line, I really felt God calling me out of the classroom, like it's time. I assumed it was time to do the homeless day shelter, which is where my heart really was. And so, there's one thing about when you're really, really following the promptings of God, you just don't mind. When you know for sure that it's him, you don't mind moving and bobbing and weaving and all of that because you truly just want to be where he is, you know.
Absolutely.
When I felt that call, you know, my prayer is always, okay, God, if you give it to me, give it to my husband. So we're not battling in the home when I come, you know, after dinner going, hey, I'm going to quit my $53,000 a year job, even though the kids are in middle school, you know. I'm going to quit it to do, I don't know yet, but, you know, I'm quitting, right? And so my prayer is always, no matter what, if you give something to me, God, give it to my husband first so that he will receive it well. So I gave God about 2 weeks to put it in Malcolm's spirit, and we always take an after dinner walk. And I said, you know, I really just feel God calling me out, you know. And he was like, you know, like I've been thinking, you know, I mean, you know how God does it. People have a dream about me doing, you know. So he was like, we talked for a couple of hours, and he said, hey, if this is what you feel God calling you to do, we'll tighten up our belt and let's make it do what it do, you know. So I immediately gave my resignation to the district, and I was really excited. And literally, Kirk, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks after quitting my job, every single solitary door to opening up a homeless shelter shut. When I say shut, I mean it literally just shut.
Closed up. Wow.
They were having a moratorium on. They weren't even allowing anyone to get a social service license anymore. That's when Oscar Goodman was like, ship the homeless to Timbuktu. We got to get them off the street. And, you know, the house that I thought I'd be able to retrofit fell off I mean, like every single thing shut. And Ricky Barlow was the councilman at the time. And he was like, Roz, yeah, I know you thought, you know, we thought you'd be able to. And so I literally cried for like 2 weeks. I'm like, did I hear you?
What do you do?
I know I heard you. I know it was you. I'm not crazy.
You start to question it though, right? Like, wow, man, how's these doors closing? I know you told me to do this. I know it. And now the doors are closing. So what's going on? What's up, God? Why are you doing this?
Right, exactly. And so I was in my prayer closet one day. I had just some gospel music playing, and a song came on the radio, and the song just simply said, it's by John Waller. And I absolutely, to this day, that song brings me just so much peace. But the song just simply said, serve me while you wait, you know? And that was really, I knew that was God speaking to me. It was just so touching. And it literally, Kurt, it just snapped me out. It was like I woke up from a 2-week long pity party, and God just simply said, just serve me while you wait. Just be patient. Just chill. Like, stop tripping, you know. And so I began to volunteer at all the other homeless shelters because I remember my pastor once saying in a sermon, if you don't know what your purpose is, help some damn body who do. Stop sitting on the pews for 20 years doing nothing, saying, I don't know what God wants me to do. I don't know. Like, help somebody who do know what God wants them to do. And that's what I began to do. And after a while, I was talking to Frank Hawkins, and he was telling me he had some land. I've always been into health and nutrition, and was telling him, hey, it would be great if, as I'm teaching people how to eat well, that we had somewhere local and close where we could just buy fresh fruits and veggies. And he said he had a 5-acre plot of land, and he had donated it to a few other organizations because they wanted to do a garden on it. And he was like, why don't you do it? I'm like, no, I want them to do a garden. Whoever them and they and those people are.
Whoever they are, they need to do it.
I just want to go pay my money so that I could buy, you know, the strawberries. And he said, if you want it, you know, I've tried to donate it. Never worked out. It's still sitting there vacant. And so I came onto the land, and it just really spoke to me. And I felt God's presence so heavy. And I knew that that's where I was supposed to be. So that is how I went from being a school teacher to a farmer.
Awesome. That is amazing. What a testimony. How
Yeah.
inspirational is that? And you had, I mean, there are so many things in this story that you just shared, from, having a conversation with your husband, making sure that you guys are in communication, that you're in agreement. And that's one thing me and my wife have always tried to do, be in agreement when we make decisions, especially large, big purchases or decisions like you made. Then waiting on God, because the doors were closed, but still had God had something for you to do, and
Yeah.
your pastor telling you just to help somebody else while you wait. What a phenomenal story. And then even from Frank Hawkins donating you and saying, if you want it, if you want
Right.
if you want to do this, here it is, but you're gonna have to put in some
He
work.
donated $1 million worth of land. Like, really, God? Like, yeah, he's awesome.
So it all just lined up, and that's really one thing I want to make sure everybody that's watching, if you're going to be listening to this on our Anchor, Spotify, or Apple Podcast, understand that God is in control. If you will just listen, wait for Him, and then move and do something. It's not just about sitting and waiting and not doing anything. You have a responsibility to do something too, and
Yeah.
He really wants you to do that. And you can do phenomenal things, and it's not just for the person that has a ton of money, multi-million dollars. You can do something right now. You can be an inspirational person for someone else right now, where you are today, right, Ross?
Right. Yeah, because I started the garden. I literally had no funds because he gave me the land, but there was no funding attached to it. It was like, here's the dirt. Go do what you do. And it was this, okay, God, you know what I need. You brought me here. Make it happen. And it was just, let me tell you, I wish that I had written down every single thing that has happened. But Kirk, it was things like, we need pallets to do this and that in the garden. And then all of a sudden, the next day, a man literally came in a truck with like 20 pallets on his back, donating it to the garden. And I'm like, why are you bringing pallets to the garden? And he was like, they were in my backyard, and I thought about the garden. I needed to get rid. Like, it was things like that over and over and over and over. I had some pictures that I had printed out, and they were pictures of the garden's journey, the dirt, and when we started and our first plot. And we were having I was having like a little gathering, and I wanted to show those pictures. And so I go to I go to Walmart to get some frames, and the frames were so freaking expensive, like $12 a frame. And I had like 18 pictures. And so I'm like, okay, these pieces of paper getting tacked on the wall, right? And then, I kid you not, a lady comes to the garden donating all this stuff. There were shovels and this and that, and there's frames.
Wow.
In the box. And I'm like, you're donating picture frames? She's like, yeah, well, I just had. Kirk, I had 18 pictures. She donated 18 frames.
What? Come on.
This kind of stuff happens over and over and over and over. And, I have a sign in the garden that says, as the garden grows, so does the gardener. And I not only learned how to grow food, I myself grew spiritually in ways that you just cannot imagine how. Because when you are able to witness the hand of God in real time like that, man, look, I know that I can do anything. I know that I can do anything. With him being there. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's incredible. That is incredible. I'm so excited. And actually, I'm going to share a little screen that I picked up about the garden. It's about 4 minutes, and I want you to watch, and then we'll talk about it a little bit afterwards. If you're good with that.
Yes, let's do it.
Many people in our city know that community gardens are very popular in Las Vegas. Well, now, one of those gardens has been thrust into the national spotlight. 7 years ago, Roz Brooks was donated 5 acres, an empty lot sort of littered with all kinds of debris. Well, she turned that lot into Vegas Roots. Earlier this year, a nationally syndicated show heard about her, and now everyone knows about Vegas Roots. As soon as you enter Vegas Roots, you can see the love that has gone into this community garden, from the rows and patches of produce to the quirky, creative hand-painted signs. This is a community project that was literally started from scratch by this determined young lady, Rosalind Brooks. She says 7 years ago, a 5-acre lot was donated to her, and she knew she could turn it into a place where people could get hands-on lessons about healthy living and eating.
Got on the property as though it was a dirt lot full of trash and glass and debris. It just felt right. And I said, even though I've never planted a seed, never grown anything, I think I can do this.
Yes, she did. Apparently, she did it so well, word traveled all the way to New York City in the nationally syndicated program called The Chew.
So after 7 years of toiling in the dirt, toiling in the sun and the heat and the bugs, we got a call in April, actually, from the Chew, a NBC talk show, and they called and wanted to know if we wanted them to come out and feature us. So they sent a film crew out here in April and filmed us, and it was amazing.
But wait, there's more. She received another call from the producers just this September, asking her to be a guest on the show.
They wanted me to talk about how to do a garden in your backyard and what are some really simple, cool things to grow. So they flew me there, and I was on the show last week. The most surprising response is that the garden got us here on the show.
She said she thought she would be nervous, but once she started talking about gardening, and this garden, her passion took over and the jitters just melted away. She knows she probably wasn't invited to the show because she developed the fanciest of gardens. Vegas Roots stands out for another reason. Here, the term community garden is actually just as much about the community as it is about the garden. Just ask Tiffany Vetter.
You learn a lot about yourself and you learn a lot about life while you do it, and you're growing things at the same time.
She leased a plot because she was having little success growing produce in pots at home, but when she started coming here, the bounty she received went way beyond produce.
You learn that failure is okay. And you grow from failure, because there's a lot of things that I did wrong on this, and I'm glad that I experienced that, because I grew and I learned, and I can get better at what I'm doing. So I'm not scared of failure anymore.
Stories like Tiffany's are exactly what Roz loves to hear. She loves that children come here and learn about healthy eating, living off the land, and that sometimes a crop may not yield much, but you can always try again. And she truly loves when that lesson isn't lost on the adults. This 5 acres taught her that 7 years ago.
Because I've been able to take a dirt lot and turn it into something amazing, I can do that with every single area of my life. Anything that I want to do, I can just take that thought and make that thought turn into a thing.
Vegas Roots is located at 715 North Tonopah Drive. They actually have some plots for lease. They supply the water, the gardening tools if you need them, and even some gardening advice. If you're interested, go to vegasroots.org.
And, there it is. I mean, taking, the garden, 5 acres, and turning it into what it is now.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Very exciting. And I just want to say, I commend you. I thank you for doing it for our community. And,
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
And also, it's motivating for me. And I would say that because watching this happen, it's gotten me to start thinking about my own health and transforming what I needed to do and what I need to do for my family, do that differently. Maybe think about eating differently, because we're family, literally. So everybody watching, make sure that I want you to understand this is family. This is my cousin here. Right. And one thing I saw, I think it was our other cousin, or Dr. Orlandis Wells. He put something on Facebook. I think he was cooking vegetables. And you mentioned in that comment that, oh, great, a family member's house that I can go and eat at. Finally. And I thought about that. I was like, wow, I think I eat pretty good. But when I really thought about it, growing up, and not just growing up, just now, even today, that's not something that I would have had. So I needed to change my own thinking, and that's something that you help others with as well. Not just the Vegas Roots Community Garden, but you also do something else with, well women of color, right?
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, well, I went through medical missionary training 6 years ago and learned all about how to heal the body according to the Word of God. And I started teaching at the garden. I have a classroom here, and so I would do 12-week sessions here. My classroom is kind of small, so I could hold about 15 to 20 women at a time. We would do 12-week sessions, and it was just really phenomenal. And a couple of years ago, I just really felt God calling me to expand that awareness to people and to do it online. And though I was kind of leery about having the same impact and effect digitally as I do in the garden, face to face, I, in my obedience, just went on and started that. And so the whole process was, just really arduous, trying to get the site that I needed and get members and all of that. But we went through, I had a beta period from 2018 and half of 2019. It was just kind of like my pilot. I had 75 ladies sign up and had them throughout the whole 18 months. And I'm telling you, they literally got the same exact results. So, those who are diabetic, can get off of metformin, and those who have high blood pressure, having their, numbers reduced, and the ladies within a year losing 20 to 30 pounds. And, now I liken it to, it's basically Weight Watchers dipped in chocolate is what I like to say. Because it literally is just exactly like a Weight Watchers program, but it's geared toward women of color, in that the meal plans are, culturally based. And, I am a woman of color, and there's no better person to educate and teach and lead than someone who has, walked in your shoes. And so it's been really phenomenal. Now we are open live. I launched it live to the public earlier this year, and I'm loving it. So I'm looking forward to being able to grow it to the capacity of Weight Watchers as well. And I will share with you, just yesterday, I got an email from an insurance provider.
Okay.
That's who I really want. Like, insurance companies will pay for their members to go to Weight Watchers or to go to a gym.
Wow. Really?
And I had no idea how I was going to be able to connect with them to be able to do that, or what I needed to do that. But one of the major ones who's across the country reached out and said, hey, we want to talk to you about being able to send our members there. They're minority women who have illness. So I'm so thankful for that. So yeah.
Wow, that's really cool, man. I had no idea about the insurance and paying for that, but I do love the fact that you say it's like Weight Watchers dipped in chocolate.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And is it? I just want to make sure everybody gets connected with you. How do we get connected with you on that particular component?
So that program, you go to wellwomenofcolor.com. Okay. Well, women with an E, wellwomenofcolor.com. And the membership program is called Wellness University. And you can click on the link to Wellness University that you'll see on the site.
And I just put it up here so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wellness University, right there. Yeah, that's it.
Wellness University, and it's coming up, but here it is, right here, and it's
super inexpensive. I do live trainings a couple times a month. We're all in a private group, so we're able to chat, motivate, encourage. We do a cleanse. We do a 48-hour detox every month. It's really important that you let your organs take a break. We do every week we have one day where we're doing just raw food, and I supply them with recipes to be able to do that. We do intermittent fasting once or twice a week. So it's really about, one of the best things I like about this about doing the program in this way. It's evergreen, so you can join at any time, and everybody starts from the beginning, no matter when you join. But what I like is that, you know, when you're trying to get healthy, when you're trying to lose weight and all of that, you know how sometimes you'll go on a vacation or cruise or
yes.
birthday, and you kind of fall off the wagon and you just
have a quarantine.
Right. 1 week turn into 2 months, but you know, I love the fact that whenever you get back on the wagon, we're there. Like, we're there. Everyone's going to fall off like that, but I need people to know that you can come back right here and we're going to get you back on track. And so the ladies that are now in the program, that's one thing that they love. When they fall off or they end up gaining, you know, 10 pounds back, they're like, but I know exactly what to do. I'm going to do a saltwater flush. I'm going to do a 7-day raw food cleanse. I'm going to give my bentonite clay and charcoal, and I'm going to do. And so it is literally teaching these lifestyle and wellness principles that will last you a lifetime and that you can pass down to your daughters and sons so that they themselves can be healthy and raise healthy kids. So we change the trajectory of health because we definitely need it, especially in the Black community.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. And you offer so much education, you offer so many services, but I mean, you can't beat this. The cost of this it's not equitable. You offer so much, and I really want everyone to understand that you're going to pay more. Not get Weight Watchers, because they have their thing. WW has their own thing, but this is, you know, definitely for us by us type of thing, right? And also the cost is so low that anyone pretty much can afford this and get all of the benefits of healthy eating, healthy, you know, and you call it a holistic, you know, thing, because you also infuse, you know, a faith-based model as well that's included in this, correct?
Yes, definitely. It is faith-based. So we tie scripture into health as well. You know, I speak about health all around the city and, you know, country. And I always say, I love, especially if I'm speaking in churches or to faith-based groups, if I'm talking, they're like, oh, well, you know, you've never had a weight problem. You skinny. What do you know, blah, blah, blah. But when I throw the word on you, ain't no arguing what God said.
Right.
Ain't no arguing. So when I tie my lesson into scripture, they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's what he said. Okay, I'm willing to do that. So he's a perfect business partner.
Phenomenal. That's great. Wow. You have been doing so many great things. I truly appreciate all that you do. And I mean, this would be enough, you know, for any, you know, regular human, but you are superhuman. You have, you know, these superhuman powers. So, you know, I want to make sure everybody sees it. I know it's kind of hard to see, but earlier, if you were with us earlier in the show, I mentioned all the different things that Roz does. And one of the other things that she has, you know, she's an entrepreneur and she has a mobile oil changing company, right?
Yes. I know. It's crazy.
So, I mean, you go from, you know, growing vegetables to changing the oil, you know, and you've been doing some great things. Look at this. I mean, you have.
Yeah, I started that business. I started that business in 2008, and it's just been going and growing now. My customer base is predominantly fleet. So we have Hertz Rent-A-Car, Dollar Rent-A-Car, Jiffy. We do plumbing companies, but we have a lot of individuals as well. Because when I first started, I just did individual cars. And for the first 2 years, I was owner operator, and I went out and did all the oil changes myself. My husband works in sales, and so he would keep some coveralls in his trunk just in case I got to a customer, and you know, or I had Fox Rent-A-Car at the time when I first started, and Fox would call and say, hey, we got 20 oil changes we need you to do today. So I'd be calling my husband like, after your sales meeting, I need help. And he would come, and you know, we take 3 hours and knock out 20 oil changes. So yeah, it was like crazy. But that business, you know, I had the concept came to me in a dream. I had never even heard of a mobile oil changing service. It came to me in a dream. And Kirk, of course, as God would have it, I started just kind of researching, and I'm on the internet and, just trying to see what it was about. And you know how you get those pop-ups now, they kind of follow you once you go to it. So like a week later, I get this pop-up ad that said there was a mobile oil changing conference in Las Vegas.
Wow.
The week, and I'm like, what the hell? Like,
what?
Literally, it was here in Vegas. That just blew my mind. And I'm like, okay, God, I guess I'm supposed to be changing oil. But it's really been a lot of fun. I've grown. I don't have to change the oil anymore. I have staff that does it now. But yeah, my husband had a friend, and he would joke like, man, how you find a woman to grow your food, cook your food, and change the oil in your car? Like, where they at? Like, how did I find that kind of woman?
Oh man, I'm saying that's really great. And I have one too, because my wife, she does change oil. She fixes a lot of things outside that I don't do, but she does the same thing. So that's really exciting and cool. And I just wanted to share that.
That website is kkmobileoil.com.
Oh, okay. kkmobileoil.com.
Yes.
All right. So if anyone out there that you guys want to get your oil change, you need a mobile oil change, any companies out there that you need to contract, kkmobileoil.com. kkmobileoil.com. Please check it out. Get in touch with Roz and the team, and they will take good care of you. And just another phenomenal thing. You are a blessing to the world. You're a blessing to me. I appreciate you being here. So many great things that you are doing, and really an inspiration to a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men like myself. We're very thankful that you're here and doing what you do and listening to the voice of God, because you're helping us to know that God is not a respecter of persons. So if he will do it for you, he'll do it for me. He'll do it for all of us. And you're just a living witness, a testimony to what he's doing and what he wants to do in all of our lives. So thank you very much for that.
Yes.
So with that said, you know what? We are at the end. We truly appreciate it. Roz, thank you so much for being on Live Inspired today. Everybody, thank you for joining in. You can always tune in, and we'll make announcements on Facebook, YouTube, on our Instagram. Check us out. I Inspire You Today. And we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Live Inspired Network on YouTube. We're also doing our Anchor podcast and Spotify, Apple. We are all over the place.
Yeah.
We're trying to do it everywhere, and I need to correct myself. We're not trying. We are doing. Matter of fact, I just listed something about my speech about do it or do not. It's not try. So I'm not trying to do it. What I am doing, and I'm getting better at doing it, and you are too. So it's not trying. Just do what you're doing, and God is going to be with you. So with that said, you know what, everyone, be encouraged. Life is good, even though you're dealing with things right now. We all are, but God is still good. Life is still good, and you want to keep going forward. Stay positive. Nothing good comes out of a negative attitude, negative heart. Just stay positive, and things will get better for you. Last but not least, live inspired, because you know what? You are inspiring the next generation, and your help, your inspirational stories, tell it to the world, because they're not only going to help someone else, but they're going to help you out as well at the end. With that said, thank you again, Ross, for being on the show. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Inspired Today with Kirk Williams. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.